Is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only, just David. Come on in. Everyone relax, take a seat. Before we get into all sorts of real world business, let's talk quickly about this episode of Salt Lake City. These ladies are making me laugh. And did you guys see this before? Actually, I guess before we even get into the episode, that Us Weekly just did a thing, and they basically said that the best cast on TV is the Salt Lake City cast. So they said they recreated the Desperate Housewives, one of the photo shoots, and they said no housewives are desperate here. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are officially the best cast ever. I kind of agree with that. They are the best cast ever. I agree with Us Weekly and the people that wrote this article. It is literally titled The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City are officially the best cast ever. It just came out this week. Some highlights. So if you don't want to read it, I can sum it up for you here. It just basically talks about how, the show's been on for 20 years and a lot are trying to recreate themselves and find their footing. And from the moment in episode 1 when Mary Cosby said Jen Shaw smelled like hospital, it was clear we had a hit on our hands. And this is a different beast. It's a mix of drama, religion, and federal crime, but it is hilarious and has heart. They talk about some highlights. Angie saying Meredith looked like a trampoline with eyes, which is actually really funny. And they talk about Monica, Miss Reality Von Teese, and how she did not work out. They're the reality stars of the year, and they include Angie and Bronwyn in that. And they recreate the iconic Desperate Housewives cover. And Mary opted, they wore swimsuits, but Mary says that she is going to wear a dress. See, this is why we love Mary Cosby. She doesn't care about the fucking rules. Very polite, but she says she's going to wear a dress because she has a moral compass and she doesn't want her cheeks out. And she needs to set an example for the younger girls in church. They truly are all in a swimsuit except for Mary, who also looks great. Mary says Salt Lake is just kind of a place. We put it on the map. Lisa says all strong personalities, but we're different. We could all fill the voids for each other in different ways, as ugly as things get. And they just say they have an irreparable bond. Meredith kind of says the same thing. As ugly as things can get, we're still at the end of the day, we're friends. Heather says we go low, but we bounce back high. Yes. And we have good senses of humor and enjoy each other when we're not fighting. This is the key to the whole cast in Housewives. Whitney says you may not always see it. We really do love each other. There's a sisterhood that's unexplained. Even when someone's coming after you, you're going after someone. There's an indescribable bond. And Meredith says we've been through so much together that even when I'm really angry at someone, which happens a lot, I still care. And if any of them called me at my worst point with them and said, I need you, I would help in 2 seconds. And this is all really real. So I love it. I agree. It is kind of the best cast that has ever been. It is so good. It is still so good in season 6, which I wasn't sure it could be done, but it's just as good as last year. And Meredith says it's about being true to yourself. We each have our own take on things. Heather says we're not afraid to show what's up, although they spend the whole season criticizing Lisa that she doesn't open up. And Angie says when the viewers are able to see your real authentic self through the TV, they can feel that and they really know you. Mary says it's when you're able to open your door, your home, and invite people in and really tell the truth of what you're going through behind the scenes. Well, since no one else is willing to say it, you have to be wild, Whitney says. Bronwyn says you have to have courage. So there you go. They say they think they're all the villain in a different respect at, one time or another. There really isn't like one villain of the show, which is true. There really aren't teams. That's what I warned Miami of last week. Meredith says Lisa's friendship is really important to me. She says, I say my husband Seth and I are on my second marriage. We're not, but she basically says that it's a very different relationship and she sees her friendship with Lisa in the same light. And the show basically saved her relationship with Lisa, and her marriage to Seth. One of the only few who will say it saved their marriage. Meredith says we're all villains. Lisa says there doesn't need to be a villain. I think we're villainous towards each other at times. I personally think you need a villain, and I think you need a good one, like Lisa Barlow. She's a good one. That's what Mary says. Lisa says I'm getting all the titles, a pot stirrer, a villain. Women supporting women. So it really got, it's a good article. Basically, they are named the best cast on TV ever. And they talk about what they don't like, and they all have a low. Whitney says, I really dislike watching when Heather and I fight in lingerie, season 3. Lisa says that's Whitney's lowest moment. Lisa says her hot mic moment. She says, I cried, and then she starts crying. She felt sorry, horrible for Meredith, for her family, for my friend. Mary says the worst was being called a cult leader and people thinking that my church was a cult. These guys are really opening up, but they're all together. Heather's daughters love the show. Meredith, I'm pretty straightforward. So there you go. That's basically the sum of the article. They're named the best cast on TV, and I am so here for it. Let's do just like a mini review before we get into some real life stuff. I loved this episode. Again, I loved this episode. What did we learn this episode? Whitney's organizing a trip for us, and I love a trip with a theme, and I love that she's introducing everything to the ladies via the flowers. They're being delivered with the flowers. And anyone notice, I mean, I hate to get lost in the weeds. Anyone notice that Whitney, we all know she's a redhead now. Anyone notice that she's a blonde in her confessionals? Maybe you all noticed that weeks ago. Just came to my attention this past episode. I'm like, oh, they're not even trying to hide the fact that these confessionals are filmed basically after the fact, months later. So there you go. And we learned that her trip is not just a trip, it's a telepathic tasting. What could go wrong at a telepathic tasting? They're flying this guy in from New York. I have allegiance to my friend Allison Dubois, so I will not be entertaining this gentleman. But good luck to you all in Salt Lake. I love how they started and Heather walks in. She's the first one there, and she says, I saw you through the walls. You look like a fairy princess. And then Mary comes in and she's like, this place looks disgusting. Why are we here? By the way, this place has bad juju. The former owner killed himself and his wife on Christmas